Good evening, everyone. Dan Goyette here. Hypnoworld Magazine Podcast. So, yeah. And as always, my good cohort here, Frank T. Rex, manning the studio with us. And this is a special time. It's a later edition of the podcast. We set this up to accommodate our guest that was going to be coming in from Australia. However, due to a scheduling conflict, we've had to kind of reschedule that, but not to worry. We've got tons of stuff to talk about tonight. I'm just going to make sure that we are live in all the places we're supposed to be live at. And I see that we are live on our Facebook and checking us here. And we look to be live on the website as well. And we are live on YouTube as well. So, hey, that's great, guys. For the first time, we are live everywhere we're supposed to be live. I am super excited about that. So, and as always, be sure to hop on over to the Hypnoworld magazine and subscribe, as this great show is being brought to you by Hypnoworld magazine, and now also being brought to you by our new parent company, the North American Hypnotherapy Guild. So those are the two things you want to check out. But tonight, we're going to be talking with our wonderful guests here, one of whom we're going to bring right on here, Tommy Gelando. He is going to be talking to us about the Performing Hypnosis Summit upcoming. So without any ado, here's Tommy. Hey, buddy. I can't hear you again.
I muted myself so that you wouldn't hear any noises that you shouldn't be hearing.
Oh, like I can't believe I'm doing this. Like, once again, here we are.
Yeah, the smack in the head and all that stuff that, nobody wants to hear on a microphone. All the insults I mutter under my breath, all that good stuff,
You know what? That is so funny that you should say that. 2013, started doing stage hypnosis, and I was doing it in bars because that's where you started. And it didn't take me long to figure out that I could not do it with a hand mic. So I needed my hands, So I got myself really nice Shure headset microphone. And my sound engineer at the time, Mike Bentley, kept having to mute me because as I would finish one gaff, I would be whispering the next gaff under my breath, but people could hear that on the microphone. So that's one of the things you learn about stage hypnosis. Don't whisper your next gaff.
That's three don'ts. So it works. Yeah, it's a triple negative. That makes it. Yeah, don't do it. But yeah, no, the headset mics are really helpful when you remember it's on.
So, yeah, you know what? I knew it was on because I could see the little green light, and it was just one of those things that your first year doing stage hypnosis, you're going to make those mistakes. And I did. So we got a bunch of people watching here. Let us know where you're watching from so we can say hi and hello, and Tommy can say hi to you and hello. So, but very quickly, it's coming up, isn't it? It's December 7th already, December 8th, excuse me. And we are going to be in Las Vegas at the Gold Coast at January 23rd to the 25th, I believe. And so,
yeah. And I'll be there till the 26th.
So, yeah.
There's a host training.
Yeah. I will not be. I'll be flying in Wednesday night. Be there Friday, Saturday. Unfortunately, I have to fly out Sunday early for another commitment. But, I was like, you know what? I'm going, So I'm usually there all 3 days.
It's an awesome conference. It's worth going. Even if you are only going for a couple of days, it's so much fun. And it's so cool to get to see some of the people that are there and connect with people who are just basically celebrities in our world. And it's an amazing conference.
So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I know that you are doing a presentation on the Tom Silver. I almost said effect. That's not it. Sorry.
Maybe that's what we should call it. Maybe that maybe that's the new name. Might have to steal that. Yeah, Tom
Have at it,
Silver's
bud.
methods.
So,
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a really good time. I put in for presenting those techniques and everything after, pretty much right around the time Tom was going into hospice. And, he was all about, make sure you go there, make sure you do this, make sure you share these techniques and whatever you can with people, because that's the way he was. So just in kind of keeping that alive, in his honor, I wanted to make sure I shared just a few of the key things that have improved my performances so much when I'm on stage. Keeping it very specific to performing hypnosis, obviously, as that's the name of the summit. But some of these techniques that he came up with, just when you experience them, it kind of shakes you as a hypnotist to going, what did I just witness?
oh yeah.
It's so cool because, like, for example, one of these techniques that I'll actually be teaching in the post training on Monday is it's one of his induction techniques that he would use on Zoom calls and stuff, and he taught it to me, and it works so well that I do it to the full audience. I have everybody who wants to be a part of the experience. I do it to the whole audience, and you see the entire audience do like this.
Awesome.
And it is the coolest visual from the stage. I always have to have my camera guy like pan the audience as it's happening. And it's just like some of that kind of stuff, that showy stuff that, because I mean, he was a showman. He was a charismatic guy who,
Mhm.
that's really where he got his fame. So yeah, I'm excited to get to do some of that, share some of those techniques. It'll be a 1-day certification course that we do for the Monday, but I'm going to show some of it during my presentation during the conference as well. I believe on Friday is when I'm scheduled as of right now, and it's just going to be a lot of
Yes.
fun to get to keep that legacy going at the event where I met him for the first time.
You know what? Yeah. Barb and I talked about that. She runs the Canadian Hypnosis Conference, and she knew him very well. He would often wake her up when she was in his pajama, or she was in her pajama times and stuff. She would tell me, so like the phone would be ringing, and it's Tom. So,
Yeah,
and we got to talking. I said, you know
that.
what? Yeah, that speaks so much to his character, because you guys met him and connected there at that last hypnosis summit, and then he left and was right into hospice. So in my mind, as a medical professional, I mean, I'm almost sure that he knew he was nearing that transitional part, and yet there he was at the summit, sharing those techniques, making those connections, and making sure that that things just were not going to be lost. I really applaud you and Israel for making that connection. I did not know him that well. I knew him in passing, well enough to go, "Hi, Tom."
Yeah, he's the reason I went. I was on the fence of going or not, and I figured I was going to go this coming year, but I wasn't going to be able to afford to go this past time. I was newly self-employed, full time in hypnosis, which, as you know, is a very easy to make money all the time kind of career. It's just rolling in. I'm just
Oh yeah,
pretending to
yeah,
be poor.
swimming through it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
this is actually liquefied cash. Cash turns purple, pinkish when
You
you
know,
put it in a blender.
yeah, just the other day, I tripped over a big bundle of money walking out of my room. It's just
You
ridiculous.
just want to throw it away. Just throw the extra stuff in the garbage. It's just taking up too much
Yeah,
space.
yeah.
Uh,
So
but no, I, I was gonna. I was either going to invest in HypnoBiz in a Box, which I highly recommend to every single person on the planet, or including non-hypnotists. Or I was going to go to this summit, and I talked to my wife about it. I'm a faith-based person. I prayed about it, and everything pointed to the summit. As soon as I saw Tom on that show with Joe Beth Bowers on Between Two Minds, it was like, okay, I got to go see Tom Silver. I got to go meet this guy. I've seen his name in so many books and on all these TV specials and all that. And so,
Yeah.
Day one, I went out of my way to. I saw him come up the escalator there on the second floor there at the Gold Coast, and immediately, as soon as he was done saying hi to a couple other people, I stuck. I'm not the kind of guy that does this, but I got right in between him and someone, and I just shook his hand and said, "Hey, I'm Tommy." And he goes, "Well, Tommy, I'm Tommy." I was like, "Oh, nice." And he goes, "No, really, my full name is Tommy, Tomi. My mom named me that. I go by Tom." I was like, "Well, that's pretty cool." So we have the same name. Obviously, we're meant to be best friends. And the rest of the conference, the whole summit, every single time I turned around, there was Tom Silver looking at me. He goes, "Tommy, walk with me." And we'd walk wherever he was going. It's like, okay, Tom. And
Awesome.
at one point after he had done his presentation on the halftime hypnosis stuff, we went down. Separately. We went down and ate lunch at Subway. He just happened to go to Subway at this, pretty much the same time I did. And we're throwing our stuff away at the same time, and he goes, "Tommy, walk back with me." I go, "Okay." And I said, "Tom, make me your protege. What's it going to take?" He goes, "I've been waiting for you to ask me that." And he goes, "I'm going to give you everything. I'm going to give you all the stuff you need." And of course he did. He gave me his number, and I'm going around to all the, I knew Mike Brody's the one who got me into hypnosis, and Scott and everybody. And I'm going around going, "Hey, look, I got Tom Silver's phone number." We've been texting. So
Sean Kostiak
it was too cool.
So Sean is here. He just popped in. So we're going to bring him on as well. So we've been kind of vamping, waiting for him, but there he is, the mighty Sean Kostiak, the captain, as he is known. So yeah, we were just talking about Tom Silver, Sean.
And listening to that story, the hypnosis world lost a lot of people between, I'll say, December 26th and up to this point. Of course, Jim was first. Tom went after. We had him on the Hypnosis Hero podcast. I think that might have been his last public anything, and he went up one side of us and down the other for delaying on getting on it. He got to do it now. Just Tom all the way. And even Amanda Dodd, if she's out there listening, she'll attest to this. She said, "Oh, he's a little spicy tonight."
So
that was fun. And in terms of mentorship, I that was my talk at PHS was about finding that mentor, to have Tom Silver as a mentor, that's phenomenal. And B, if it doesn't give you the right kick in the ass to get going, I don't know what else
Nothing's gonna. Yeah.
Nothing else is gonna do it. Hey Dennis, I had Jim, and actually Tom and Jim were just on the cusp of starting to do some things together as well. And you get that right mentor, and good things happen. I didn't think I was ever going to be podcasting, let alone about hypnosis. If anything, it might have been Star Trek, but there's enough of those guys out there.
Exactly.
And they all don't have the same opinion as me, so they're all wrong. Like, what's up with that?
Yeah. I will say it's Jim Kellner that got me into this collaboration that I find myself in now with people, because prior to Jim, I was just I was like, nobody really knew who I was. And it was just that one phone call about, the conference that changed everything. It can, it's like, hey, Tom Silver, boom, changes everything, changes your course. And So the summit is coming up January 23rd to 25th, Sean.
Yeah, I actually have it right here. If I can share my desktop, let's see if we can make this technology work.
I think so. Yeah.
Share a screen. We'll share that one.
All right. Okay, we will show that in the stream. There it is.
Look at that. That's how many days are left.
So yeah, I have
that many.
Yeah, we were just booking flights the other day to get out there, and I got the hotel rooms all taken care of course, and the flights are taken care of. The only thing I've got to do is book my cameraman's flight out there with us so that he can do some stuff, so we can get some good pictures for the magazine. Of course, as always, we do a write-up about who is at the summit, what was at the summit, and why we were at the summit. So that is going to be happening. And
well, the idea is, to be at the summit, you should be at the peak, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is the peak of performing hypnosis.
So yeah,
that?
That is the peak of performing hip. I think that was one of the thing. It was the very first article we wrote. I called it "Climbing the Summit." So the peak of performance will be the title. I should let Sean write the article about this year's summit. But I was just telling Tom that when I first started doing stage hypnosis with no formal training whatsoever, just everybody talked me into it. They're like, "Oh, you were in theater, Dan. You can do this." And I couldn't use a hand mic because I found out right away I needed my hands. I needed to do that. So I used a Shure head mic, which I still have. As a matter of fact, I think last winter or something, I got talked into doing a show. It wasn't a sponsor. What is that called when you're benefit? But there's no video, there's no pictures. I'm not coming out of retirement. Just they talked me into it, so I did that 145-minute set. But when I first started doing it, I would whisper the gaff. If I was ending one gaff and starting the next gaff, I would be whispering the new gaff under my breath. So my sound engineer would have to mute me. And every once in a while, I'd go to talk and I'd still be muted. So there were some hiccups early on in that stage performance. If only I'd had the summit.
Yep. And that's exactly it. Like, if I had to say one reason at all why you want to come in, and it's an investment in your future. You have the absolute leaders in the hypnosis industry. People like Kevin Lapine, people like Tom Silver, like Jim was one. Grant. And by the way, Grant is here in Canada with me. He did get snowed on last night, just like I did. He's working hard. Corey J has him out working a number of gigs here, and every so often Grant will post the temperature. That's not England. That is actually Saskatchewan and how it is here. And it did actually reach -40 a couple days ago. So, yeah. So yeah. Winter is here. Snow warnings out, blizzard, and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, yeah. I digress. We have these leaders. Tommy V. It would be another one that is right up there. Yeah, I think I mentioned Kevin. I'm scanning the room for the people that I know are going to be there. Deanna, Michael Brody, Dan be another one. And you have a wealth of everything from, hey, this is how you could do this better, all the way to, hey, Jeff Bennick would be another one. Hey, if you do this with this piece of equipment, that will work better. Oh. And the whole summit is designed, and I think I saw one of the posts that Grant put up just recently of a newbie to hypnosis and maybe looking at jumping out into doing shows. And he said, every time I asked a question, there were like 3 or 4 people there with an answer, ready to help me, ready to demonstrate, ready to show me. It's just that's what we do. You know, that's really why PHS exists. It exists to help all of us get better, do different things. Maybe, and I think I said this when we were doing our launch on Hypno News. We have it looks like on our schedule we have some things that maybe double up. Well, you know what? Two teachers can teach exactly the same thing, and different students will pick up on different cues, and just
Oh yeah.
it's just there to reinforce, and that's not a bad thing. Plus, this year
Speaking,
we have Tommy V. He's going to be talking about his relationship and his dad's relationship with Orman McGill,
Mhm.
who of course wrote the book.
Yeah.
Literally,
That
and that
that is
book
going to
is
be
thick.
one I'm going to sit in on, because my initial training through the Michigan Clinical Hypnosis Institute, I want to say that right. One of the gentlemen there that was doing the teaching, of Frank Guilford, um, had worked with Ormond and had a lot of videos that Ormond had done in early shows. It was really great to see. So I knew about Ormond McGill from the onset. And I always liked the way he had that magic wand, but he never alluded to it being a magic wand. He just had it. And then next thing you know, people are they're down, they're in hypnosis. And he would just, like, not even a wave, just a little circle with his hand. He would have that wand. So that was always very cool. But speaking of presentations, I'd gotten a hold of somebody, and I thought, hey, you know what? We should collaborate and do a presentation at, the summit, and he said, oh, hey, that'd be a good idea. We could do that. So I'll apply for it, and we're doing that, but we're doing it at the same time. So he's doing his presentation, and I get to be the creepy hypnotist all by myself. Right? It's
Don't be creepy. Yes.
yeah. Um, and
Well,
yeah,
we could combine the room. We could combine the room, and then you can go from don't be creepy to the cream of the crop and bounce over.
exactly. So I just thought that was a funny thing. It's like you know,
Well, honestly, and I did actually mention this when we were making the schedule, and Brian will attest to this. I said, "Don't tell them." I didn't even notice that I put the Michigan boys up against each other. The only other thing that would have really sealed the deal is if Michael was doing a talk on the actual online only channel, and then it would have been all three of you up against each other. That would have been hilarious. But anyway, I digress.
exactly.
We should
Good
have.
evening. Hey, there's Jesse. Good evening, Jesse. How are you doing?
Jesse
So
is
Hey,
probably
Jesse.
digging out just like I am.
so yeah, and then Brian Bay sent us a little. Don't forget to reserve your rooms, and there's the code for your rooms at the Gold Coast Casino, which is just very nice hotel. We actually were there last year, and I was kind of blown away by that, because you never know what you're going to get when you get a little bit off the strip. But they spent a good amount of money. Um, I want to say refurbing it.
Yeah,
Looks yeah,
the rooms are nice. They're
yeah.
going back to the days of when Hypno Thoughts was in New Orleans. You wouldn't be able to hardly plug anything in your room, and that definitely definitely not anything big like a microwave or anything like that. And you start blowing breakers and everything. So in this case, they've done a really good job of making sure that the hotel has enough electrical, enough everything. Rooms are actually really, really nice. They're redone. Just a warning though, that if you are bunking with somebody, there are no doors on the bathroom.
Oh, really?
So you may have to. Well, I didn't see a door.
I stayed there last. You know what? It's like the Orleans. It slides.
Oh,
It's
is it? Okay.
Yeah, it's in there, but you
Or
got to
maybe I
kind of
just
like
got
reach in and it
confused.
slides
Maybe
out.
you know what? I was in my room for probably all of about 4.5 hours, which is the other thing. This summit is meant to, be connect people and so on and so forth. But do make sure you get your proper amount of rest. I mean, that is important to the learning process.
So Yeah.
It helps.
I know that Tommy's going to get his rest. Because I'm sure that not everyone is going to just flood to the Tom Silver effect. He'll have
I'll
plenty
just
of.
be napping in there waiting for someone to show up.
Yeah, I think
All
I'll be
right.
the one napping. They'll be like, I don't know, I don't want to go see the creepy hypnotist.
I'll be
No,
putting
that's not
sleep
what it
back in
said.
hypnosis.
Yeah. So I thought that was a good thing for me though, because I did bar shows. I mean, all my stuff was adult themed. I never did the, oh, well, your belly button disappeared. Ha ha ha. No, nobody wanted that from me here in Michigan. They're like, can you make the girl take her clothes off? No, I can't do that, sir. I'm not going to do that. I don't care how adult the show is. As a matter of fact, Jesse, so there are sliding doors. Last year's I had too much street pizza. My lady was happy for a sliding door.
I'll check it out. Like I
Yeah.
said, I was only in my room for about 4.5 hours. It was enough to sleep for half an hour, get up, shower, and get ready for the next
Well,
day. So
you have a
and I
lot
was on
going
my
on,
own, so
Sean.
I don't care. Right?
Yeah, because not only are you doing things at the summit, but you're also making sure that the online portion is happening. So
Well, it does get busy.
yeah,
And the online portion is starting to fill out. We have a couple of people who are still finalizing schedules, so we may be moving a couple of people that were going to be at the summit online to do their presentations. Does that mean don't come to the summit? No, it just means that you'll catch them online, and it could be, after the fact, or it could be in place of another session that maybe it's a topic that doesn't interest you.
so, yeah.
I don't know which one that would be. Probably my talk, but oh wait, my talk's not listed yet.
Yeah, you should list your talk, man. But here's a funny thing for Tommy. So years and years and years ago, we did the last Mayo River Fest before they just decided they didn't want to spend the money over there in Mayo anymore. And I went over there and met with the board. They really, really liked us. They came over and they saw us at the Backdoor Saloon. They wanted to see the show. They were blown away by the show. Went over to meet them. And they said, hey, we're going to be putting you in the spot. Do you have a stripper pole? And I laughed. I did. I thought they were joking with me. And they said, no, it's an adult show. And I said, I thought this is family. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, but you'll be going on later. And they gave me money, like literally wrote a check. And I had to rewrite my contract with liability guards in it. Right here, you can't see it, but in this office is a stripper pole I have never used in my show. Because thank God they put me in a tent.
You said you never used it in your show, but it doesn't mean you've never used it.
I got mad skills on the pole, Tommy. So
I hear it's good for core work, but that's all I hear.
Keeps my abs tight.
Yeah.
And but that's, you know what? I know, you know what I mean? It's like, don't be creepy. First rule of hypnosis. So I'm going to throw that out there. And I know that one of the great things, Salish is going to be there. Is he not?
Yep. Salish is set to be there. You know what? Why don't we, just because Sean closed it down, .com, let's bring up the actual schedule.
Oh, we can do that. We can do that. So, and then
I think we have the tech.
Yeah. Whilst we're doing that, why don't you go ahead and fill them in on your post conference there, Tom? I know what I'm doing.
Well, you know some stuff. Yeah. So there it is. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead. Let's start with that.
Yeah. So the post conference training is going to be it's a 1-day mini certification course in the methods of Tom Silver. It's Tom Silver's Scientific Hypnosis on the Stage is the theme for it. And it's basically going to take a lot of the scientific hypnotic principles that Tom was so just adamant about being scientific with hypnosis. He hated how woo woo so much of it is, and that was, his preference was to be very, very scientific in it. That's why he used the EEG in his trainings and things. And so with the stage portion, it requires some of the theatrics, but there's also a lot of principles that he put in place that really take people into a much more profound state of hypnosis, in my experience, and really gets them more active and engaged in a way that I just hadn't seen other people do it. Plus, he was the guy who started the whole "how do you have a 5-minute hypnosis show in the middle of a basketball court?" I mean, who would have thought to be how, And
Yeah.
he's the pioneer who came up with all that. So we'll be going through, some of the things and the principles that made that a reality. And yeah, it's and something about that too is the foundation. So the Tom Silver Foundation is a 501c3 nonprofit organization, and so donations to that foundation are 100% tax deductible. Now, with this training, it does include a portion of that is just a donation. So there's a link to have to pay your way into that training, and within that link is also the tax deductible donation portion of that. So it's a way to get training that you need, also to support a good cause, because the Tom Silver Foundation, we're all over the place working with veterans and first responders, and giving trainings all over the world. We've got a lot of things in the works that we're planning, and just really furthering the science behind hypnosis and seeing what can we do to more prominently legitimize that in the whole medical world, because it's amazing that doctors don't use hypnosis more. Psychologists don't even take any training. They have no idea what hypnosis is. And it just blows my mind when it's been so proven. So our foundation's looking to change all that, to fix all that. And we're only one entity, though. And so one of the ways that we're funding that is through things like this post training. It's really essentially funding me being out there, and it's funding our mission going wherever we need to be around the country and around the world. So yeah, and I know I sent that link over to Brian, and I think I sent it over to you, Sean, as well. I don't know, I don't remember, but
I will double check.
Either way, it's there, and it is categorized that way. When people go ahead and sign up for that training, they will get an itemized receipt that gives the whole breakdown of this much goes toward the Tom Silver Foundation directly as a tax deductible donation, and that way everybody gets a little bit of something back. You get to write something off on your taxes if you take this training. So made sure that was something possible.
All right. So let's go ahead and take a look at the rest of the schedule. And while we're doing that, you should get a hold of me sometime, Tom, and I'll tell you the stories. I'll tell you the story of the 3 times I had to use hypnosis in the ambulance. So.
All right.
That would make a great talk, Dan.
Yeah, doing stage shows in the back of an ambulance.
Privacy issues. Okay. Again, take this with a grain of salt because it is still a little bit fluid, but of course we are going to kick off our mornings with the welcome and networking. So every morning we'll have a little bit of time where we can get everybody oriented, figure out where they're going. If you need coffee, all that kind of stuff, get it all taken care of so that when we do get going, it is, kind of a way to, ever forward. Let's put it that way. So kicking it off on day 1, Joe Beth and John, we talked about Tommy V and his talk. Again, this is important, and it's probably something that a lot of us don't do enough of is actually plan our finances and work with our finances. We're a lot of hypnotists are probably just happy to have money coming in, but when it's there, what do you do with it? How do you work to keep it, so to speak?
Yeah.
Because there are legitimate ways to do that. So that's important. Chris Jones, we're waiting on confirmation that he will actually be with us at the summit. If not, he'll be presenting online. Some guy named Tommy, some guy named Dan.
So
they'll be finishing off, and then we'll have an expert panel on day one, and that one is going to be dedicated to forewalling your shows. So the people that we have there are going to be talking about what do you need to do, what are the considerations. There are some things that are going to help you so that we can get out and do our own shows. Part of the problem that we have as a group is when we forewall a show, how do we make sure it's attended, and there's ticket sales, and they come in before the last day and not at the door. Right? Yeah, it'd be kind of nice to know that you got a couple hundred people coming to your show long before curtain call, so to speak. So anyway, that's day one. Day two, again, we'll start off with our welcome and networking. A gentleman by the name of Claude Haggerty, and if anybody has followed the magician world for a long time, Claude he was based out of Ontario. He used to travel with a lot of large cats, kind of a Siegfried and Roy style. But he is done 11,000 shows. He is going to be talking about how he was able to fundraise for those shows so that everybody gets paid and there's lots of money left over for the fundraising and so on, whoever that happens to be. And sponsorships and so on and so forth. Exactly. So he's going to be there. He's going to be sharing with us. He's already committed, and he will be in Vegas. I would say likely with bells on, but his wife is coming, so at least he'll be dressed properly. So, Michael Brody, of course, talking about being dynamic. I don't know if that involves puppetry, but if certain puppets made an appearance, I don't think anybody would complain. Kevin Lapine and Michael DeShalit will be giving talks on different topics, and likely they will be on the expert panel, the forewalling panel as well. Lisa and Alan will be in attendance this year, and so they're going to be talking. Lisa's going to be talking about successful group inductions, and the dynamic is a little different when you have two people on stage. So they have some things they can do that, if you're just the one person that's doing the induction, you may not be able to do. But there are some things, and Lisa has a lot of experience, with everything from the very first show. One of the very first shows I know that she often talks about is with with a group of what they called Hypnosis Sisters, and it was in a really busy area. I think there's video somewhere. Not that I'm saying go look at the video, but it was they did it. So, and it's been all uphill for Lisa after that. Tracy Harden was a new attendee last year as well. She's going to be talking about some of the AI stuff that is out there. You think, well, Sean, why aren't you talking about some of the AI stuff that's out there? Because I talk about the AI stuff to teachers all the time. That might be nice to, learn something. But you know what? Here's the thing. Tracy's going to be talking about crafting songs with ChatGPT and Suno. Well, ChatGPT, is it the best at writing lyrics? No. Can you make it? Yeah. Is Suno really good at doing songs? Listen, the last time I did anything with Suno, it was for a group of teachers, and what we did is basically we wrote a song about teachers being in professional development, listening to songs, and learning about AI and stuff. And then we told it, you know what? Let's try this 4 ways. So we'll try it as a country song. We'll try it as an 80s rock ballad. We'll try and the same lyrics and 4 totally different songs. So you can do that. You want to write some music, some opening music to your act. You want to write some music for a particular part of your act. Jesse's absolutely right. AI equals freedom. You now have the freedom to do that. And the great thing about some of these AIs out there, and especially Suno, is if you have a paid account, that music is yours.
Oh yeah, And I will say this. When I was doing the show, I had to go on to a couple of websites because I would open the show with various music, and I had to pay to license that performance for those songs that I was going to be using in the show. I had to go on because I think the artist got so much of it, whatever. They got like 50 cents or something. But you don't have to do that with AI because it's yours. So,
Exactly.
Like I would open the show with was like Motley Crue, Wild Side or Dr. Feelgood, and there was a couple other songs in there that I had to pay for. I can't remember the name of the website now. It probably doesn't even exist anymore, but you had to go in, make an account, pay that performance, and get it done. But yeah.
In Canada, that's called SOCAN, and that's exactly it. You pay so much for each use of the song, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we have ASCAP, we have BMI, all those. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it was we used virtual DJ, and there was a licensing thing on that I would have to use sometimes. Like if it was like a brand new song that was super popular, it would put a little asterisk by it, and I'd have to pay $9 or whatever for the month to be able to use that song for a month. But yeah, so and Jesse says they can Jesse.
All I'm going to say is I have a son that is a musician, and dealing with SOCAN has not been fun. I believe that was the word you were looking for, right, Jesse? Was fun?
You can fun it. Yeah. Just go fun that.
Yeah. And again, we have Tommy V talking about the hand clasp, and Grant and I were talking about that on Hypno News. If you get that right, the rest of your show goes so much smoother.
Yeah.
And so that's a good one to take a look at. Salish, like I said, will be there. Yes, they can fund themselves. Expert panel, ab reactions on stage. Not everything is ever going to go 100% smoothly. Technical difficulties aside, so on and so forth. But what about when it's people difficulties? How do we deal with that in a professional way, and B, in a way that helps people either get back into it or off the stage in a way that is still good for them. So
absolutely,
we'll be talking about that, because of course we know safety first, right? And then Sunday panel here, 0 to 6 figures. If you're just launching, what do you do? What are those steps? Alan and Lisa, again, they have a boot camp. They've been working with hypnotists for a number of years. And that boot camp is there and designed to help you, very much take your stuff and work it into a show that works for you. Get some video behind you, get things going, and you can go from 0 to 6 figures after that, without really batting an eyelash. Again, John Cerrone will be with us. Casey is going to be speaking, and if you've ever heard Casey speak at HypnoThoughts, she's got some real wisdom, and if you've ever seen any of her social media stuff, I mean, it's absolutely phenomenal.
She's amazing.
Yeah, she really brings out and emphasizes points that you think, oh yeah, why didn't I think of that before?
Yeah.
And Casey also heads up our volunteer course, so having Casey there is always a good thing for us. And she will be bringing Brewster along.
Brewster. I was
Summit Master.
I was going to say Boomer. I don't know why.
No, Boomer. He was the third pilot in Battlestar Galactica.
He was, yeah. So, I don't know about you guys, but it was always super hard for me to get any really good video of my shows because I was always in a bar. It was always dark, and we always had that, bright light, the lighting and the atmosphere, and whenever the lights would hit that camera, it just washed. That was it for the video. It washed it right out. So, but yeah, sorry, I digress.
No, I had that. I actually had somebody manning the camera just to make sure I could get good video, and just everybody looked at it, even me, and that's hard to look angelic. So without being reflective, that's hard to, you know.
It is.
We'll be talking about donuts here. I'm going to be interested to see what Tracy has to say with that one. Jeff Bennick will be here, and if you know anything about Jeff, is yes, he's a technical wizard, but just in talking with him on the podcast before, the way that Jeff designs shows, it's got a very theatrical basis. There's lots going on, and it's all coordinated and constructed around how how they react to certain situations. And I think it's a phenomenal approach. And certainly there aren't, if there are more than 5 people in the world taking Jeff's approach, I would be surprised.
Yeah. So. I know I had to defend my freedom lights from him at the Canadian Hypnosis Conference. So I brought those so that they could have some lighting, a little bit of lighting for the show that they had going on there. But, you know, he wants my freedom lights. He cannot have my freedom lights. Those are mine.
And then Israel, Christina J, again, another first timer, a couple of first timers, and
oh yeah,
supernatural stage phenomena, the professional part-time stage hypnotist. Look, not everybody can start full-time right away. So how do you do it part-time while you still have the quote-unquote 9 to 5 job? And then of course you can see just on the side, just a little bit there are a few people that are presenting online. Of course, we've got Jonathan Royal, Jeffrey Siegel, some guy named Richard Cole.
Oh, yeah, that guy.
And some guy named Jesse Lewis.
Yeah, that guy. So I'm going to say this about Christina J, though. I'm going to be excited to see her because I called it. She was at the Heartland Hypnosis. She was just getting back into stage hypnosis. And she goes, oh, I just want to do local shows. And I said, you give it a couple years. 3 years. You're going to be doing presentations. You're going to be, doing shows. I called it years ago. So I'm going to remind her of that. I was right. So
she's doing awesome stuff on social media too. Like her TikTok presence and everything, those videos where she's got people on Zoom calls and everything. It's just, she's hilarious.
So yeah, she is, and we actually did an article about her in the early magazine when it was still Hypno Cafe magazine. So I think I have that somewhere. I'm just going to go online and saying, called it right here. Yeah, that's right. I called it. So
I don't know, Tommy. Are you getting the sense that Dan thinks he's right?
No, he doesn't normally think he's right. I know he's usually kind of creepy.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna hound that. That's gonna be what word comes to mind? It's gonna be if I do any shows coming up. Maybe I got one on Thursday. I'll just make it so that every time someone hears the word Dan, they're gonna be ooh creepy. And then that'll just trickle through.
Yeah.
That'll be the post-hypnotic suggestion.
Yeah.
Who did that? Colin Chapman.
Dan, you're creepy.
Yeah, Colin Chapman did that with, oh gosh, who was he? Oh no, it wasn't Dan. It was Steve Supachana was doing a bit, and he was using Colin, and so every time they heard the certain word, Colin Chapman sucks. And then who's Colin Chapman?
I had a show last week.
I think I got that right.
It was a private party, and I had it so that every time they heard the name Tommy, they'd go, "Oh my God, I love that guy." So the rest of the evening, anytime someone said my name to somebody else or whatever, that would come about, and they would just say, "Oh my God, I love that guy," and it was just in that way, and it was just so funny to see their whole demeanor change.
Yeah, I think I stole a bit.
Makes me more loved.
Yeah. I stole a bit one year. I think I did a show where I told them, it's like, every time you hear me say, ladies and gentlemen, I say it wrong, and you just have to tell me how wrong I am, and you're just getting super frustrated. And there was this one person, I'd be like, ladies and gentlemen, you're saying it wrong. She would stand up and yell.
Well, I made the mistake of so I'm working with a group of firefighters, volunteer firefighters. First of all, great group, absolutely phenomenal. But I had two guys there that were cowboys, and they were the last volunteers up. I'm pretty sure they had rib injuries because everybody's kind of, get up there, you guys.
Hold on, Frank.
Yeah, so I had to make a new rule after that no more elbowitis. We'll spare everybody the rib injuries. Fortunately, there were probably some EMTs in the room, but anyway, these two guys come up and they were tall and thin, so I mean they're towering over me, and so somebody would mention the word hypnosis, and one of them would pop up, "I love hypnosis." And then somebody would mention my name. "I love Sean."
That's awesome.
And they did it all night. They have no recollection of it. So,
yeah. I always had a rule that if I saw like, oh, you got to point him like, okay, you do that to your friend, I'm coming down out of the audience and you're the one coming up on stage. So it would just like,
I said, look, like if you elbow your buddy and your buddy decides to come up, they're bringing you with them.
There you go. So that'll do it. But
none of this elbows up stuff. Elbows in. Don't injure anybody.
Yes. So safety first. So, okay, guys, I think we are coming up on our time, but I want to thank you for filling in tonight here on the podcast. And I am going to go ahead and put the QR code up there one more time for the summit. Scan that. It'll take you directly to their website. Get the ticket. Be there in person. Be there online, but be there. I know I'm flying in on Wednesday and flying out on Sunday, but Saturday or Friday is my time to be creepy. So and Tom will be there talking about this Tom Silver Foundation. So let's do it. Let's, you know what I mean? The guy, oh, hey, Jesse says, have fun. We will.
We will. We're going to miss you.
Yeah. All right. That's it for me, guys. So as always, hey, I hope you guys